El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, recently declared in a triumphant year-end message, "Our country is an example to the world of peace, confidence, and optimism. Nobody can deny it." These words, delivered to millions via his social media platforms, reflect a striking transformation that the small Central American nation has undergone during Bukele's tenure. The reasons for his confidence are indeed compelling. A nation once infamous for its staggering homicide rates celebrated 24 consecutive murder-free days in December. Meanwhile, the value of Bitcoin, legalized as tender under Bukele's leadership in 2021, surged past $100,000, adding to the nation's reserves. To cap it off, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, agreed to a $1.4 billion loan, unlocking an additional $2.2 billion in international funding. Bukele's journey from a young, tech-savvy former mayor to an internationally recognized leader reflects not just his ambitions, but his ability to reposition El Salvador on the global stage. His landslide re-election in 2024, securing nearly 85% of the vote, underscored his domestic appeal. Internationally, however, his methods and rapid centralization of power have sparked both admiration and alarm. At 43, Bukele has leveraged his background in advertising to redefine El Salvador's identity. Once known primarily for its violence and poverty, the nation is now marketed as a cryptocurrency haven and a surfer's paradise. Using social media to amplify this rebranding, Bukele has cultivated a global audience of almost 7 million followers on X, formerly Twitter, where he portrays himself as a philosopher king. His appeal to international conservatives has been profound, with figures like Tucker Carlson praising him as a potential model for global governance. "He may have the blueprint for saving the world," Carlson tweeted, encapsulating a growing sentiment among right-wing commentators. El Salvador's security improvements have also captured attention in the United States, where crime rates in major cities remain a pressing issue. Following reports of historic lows in El Salvador's murder rates, Elon Musk commented, "Needs to happen and will happen in America." Such endorsements reinforce Bukele's growing stature as a leader whose policies resonate far beyond his country's borders. The transformation is palpable in San Salvador, the nation's capital. Once a hub of gang violence, areas like Plaza Gerardo Barrios now symbolize the country's renewed sense of safety and community. Families frequent the square to visit the restored presidential palace, admire the capital's cathedral, and explore the new National Library. Open 24/7 and funded by Chinese investments, the library embodies Bukele's vision of modernity and accessibility, featuring 7 floors with resources in Spanish, English, and the indigenous Nahuatl language. The city's skyline has also evolved, with gleaming office towers and modern shopping centers replacing the razor wire that once adorned buildings. Notable among these developments is Google's new campus, inaugurated in 2024, a testament to Bukele's efforts to attract foreign investment. Infrastructure projects such as highways, bypasses, and Surf City 2, a planned tourist hub building on the success of its predecessor, are further driving the nation's economic revival. However, while economic growth is projected at 3% this year, slightly below regional averages, critics argue that these advances mask deeper structural issues. A development banker described the country's pre-Bukele economic dependence as dire. A quarter of GDP came from remittances. The average remittance payment was $400 a month, and after 6 years, migrants stopped sending money. El Salvador's only business model was exporting its people to the U.S. Bukele's approval ratings, above 90%, are undeniably tied to his success in improving security. But this achievement has come at a profound cost. Since March 2022, under a state of emergency, over 83,000 people have been arrested, representing 3% of the adult male population. The state of emergency, extended 34 times, has suspended constitutional rights, including freedom of association, access to legal defense, and timely trials. The controversial centerpiece of Bukele's security policy is CCOT, the Center for the Confinement of Terrorists, a maximum security prison near Tekaluka. Capable of holding up to 40,000 inmates, CCOT has been described as the largest prison in the Americas. Conditions are notoriously harsh. Inmates sleep on flat metal bunks without mattresses under constant illumination, with just 1 hour of daily exercise. For many Salvadorans, the results justify the means. Bukele's supporters point to neighborhoods once ruled by gangs, but now safe for families. Delivery driver Jose Antonio Gomez recalls a personal transformation. "I was held up at gunpoint 25 times in 8 years. Now, look at that community. It's peaceful. People walk with prams." Yet human rights organizations paint a starkly different picture. Reports from Cristosol, a Salvadoran human rights group, reveal that many arrests were arbitrary, based on vague charges of conspiracy. Noah Bullock, Cristosol's executive director, warns, "It's a huge system of arbitrary arrest built on a base of legal changes that allow the government to arrest whoever they want." Initially shunned by Western governments due to his authoritarian tendencies, Bukele is now being cautiously embraced. High-level U.S. officials attended his 2024 inauguration, signaling a shift in diplomatic relations. The IMF's $1.4 billion loan reflects confidence in Bukele's economic reforms, despite concerns over his disregard for democratic norms. Critics, including Human Rights Watch, argue that engaging with Bukele legitimizes his authoritarian practices. International observers remain divided. While some believe Bukele could follow models like Singapore or South Korea, others fear he is consolidating power for long-term rule. His political party, Nuevas Ideas, dominates Congress, and his control over the judiciary and security forces ensures little opposition. Bukele's legacy hinges on whether he transitions El Salvador into a sustainable democracy or entrenches it in autocracy. His ambition to remain in power, coupled with his polarizing policies, raises questions about the nation's trajectory. Will Bukele relinquish control after his second term in 2029, as his aides suggest, or will he join the ranks of Latin America's long-serving strongmen? At San Salvador's airport, gilded armchairs bearing the presidential seal invite arriving passengers to take selfies, flanked by portraits of Bukele and his wife. The imagery evokes comparisons to 20th century dictators like Paraguay's Alfredo Stroessner or the Dominican Republic's Rafael Trujillo. For Bukele's critics, including the grieving family of former advisor Alejandro Muichont, his presidency is a cautionary tale of unchecked power. Muichont's death in custody, marked by allegations of torture, exemplifies the darker side of Bukele's governance. Yet, for many Salvadorans, the choice between fear of gang violence and the harshness of Bukele's regime is clear. As one presidential aide put it, "There's a lot of talk about the human rights of prisoners, but what rights do you have if you're dead?" El Salvador under Nayib Bukele is a nation transformed, its streets safer, its economy rebranded, its leader adored by millions. But this transformation comes with significant trade-offs. The international community must decide whether to champion Bukele's achievements or challenge his methods. The answer will shape not only El Salvador's future, but also the broader debate over security, governance, and human rights in the 21st century. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe for more fascinating stories, and share your thoughts in the comments below. You can also support us on Patreon, link below.